That's cool. I also want to ask you about SHADESWAP in a second, but let's talk a little bit about the relation to secret network and what's been going on the secret network ecosystem, and also maybe for those that are completely new now and haven't heard about SHADESWAP, like how is it built? What's the relation to secret? And yeah, how is it like technically architectured in like simple terms?
Sure. So we'll talk about the relationship to secret network. We'll talk about Secret Surge because there's this massive DeFi campaign kicked off by Secret Labs, $4 million worth of LP incentives over the course of the next year or two. That's super exciting. We'll talk about Shade Protocol's relationship to Secret Surge in a bit. But to talk about like what makes SHADESWAP differentiated. The first piece is its focus on the relationship between L1 tokens and staking derivatives. So we actually spent 5 months last year with a PhD mathematician working on something called asymmetric concentrated liquidity. And it essentially allows for incredibly efficient trades between atom to ST-atom, Osmo to ST-Osmo on very low liquidity. So you can go ahead and simulate a trade on one of those pools, and you'll see that you can get an incredibly efficient trade. So we're seeing a lot of interest on the derivative curve and how efficient it is. The second piece is we put derivatives front and center. So whenever we can use derivatives, we do, because it's more efficient for LP providers. It's more efficient for the protocol because the protocol has to spend less incentives to attract liquidity. So we're definitely a derivative focused DEX. And then the third piece of the puzzle is that Silk over time is becoming the essentially key routed liquidity. So on like Osmosis as a good example, to kind of be a liquidity provider where most of the rewards are, you have to hold Osmo. But this type of model forces liquidity providers to take on impermanence loss because of the volatility of like this kind of governance token model. And so what we decided to do is put a stable coin as the center router of liquidity. And this makes it so that liquidity providers don't have to take on as much risk of impermanence loss when Silk is kind of the centerpiece of routing. So in summary, you get multiple revenue streams as a liquidity provider because of the focus on staking derivatives. We have an incredibly efficient derivative trading curve that's totally unique with asymmetric concentrated liquidity. And the third piece, having a stable coin as the key router, is also differentiated from most of the other Cosmos dexes. And then you also get front running resistance because we have this privacy built in. You're trading private tokens, your balances are kept protected, and you don't have to worry about people extracting value from your trades. And now the relationship between SHADESWAP and Secret Network, I would say, of course, we inherit the privacy properties of Secret Network. This gives us those encryption features. And Secret Surge was something that was recently passed on chain. It was a massive incentives program to revitalize secret DeFi. And so there's secret incentives right now that you can farm on the Silk USDC pair, the Silk USDT pair, Silk to staked secret pair. And yes, vSecret are the incentives Mohammed just commented on here. And this comes from the Secret Surge initiative. So we're super, super thankful for the secret community to rebuild TVL on Secret Network and to kind of show the broader cosmos that there's a lot going on here. And one thing specifically that's on my heart is like we're focused on supporting like Atom liquidity. We actually really value the hub and the role of Atom within the larger ecosystem, and it's why Silk ST-Atom is like the largest pair on SHADESWAP right now. Is we think that if we can bring Cosmos liquidity onto Secret, it's really going to help revitalize this ecosystem that we're building out.
Yeah, I think you also had a spaces with the Stride team, right? So what's up with them? Like, are you also planning to bring on more liquid staked assets or?
Yes, so Stride right now, there's Stride incentives on the Silk ST-Atom pair. So for anyone that's a huge fan of Shade and Stride and you want to farm, that's like a really, really good pair to get it on. We have a really unique relationship with Stride just because they had been talking with us since last year. We've met their team in person. We think they're awesome, awesome builders. And what Stride's done remarkably well is they're just launching staking derivative after staking derivative after staking derivative. And so for SHADESWAP, as we expand the offering of available Cosmos assets, we'll definitely continue to onboard Stride liquid staking derivatives because we love their approach to security, modularity, their approach to IBC, and their relationship to the hub with shared security definitely gives us a lot of peace of mind about the security of that layer one. So as a whole, Stride's also a really big fan of us because we're prioritizing liquidity on their staking derivatives. That being said, the derivative curve is super efficient, and so other liquid staking derivatives are excited to kind of leverage asymmetric concentrated liquidity. So Quicksilver will be coming to SHADESWAP. Persistence with their staking derivative will be coming to SHADESWAP. So you can expect SHADESWAP to be, if you're interested in swapping between derivatives, if you're interested in just like LSDs and their role in Cosmos DeFi, SHADESWAP will be the place to go for making those trades and liquidity providing it. One thing I said back in last year, I believe it was September 2022, I predicted that there would be a liquid staking renaissance. I said that Cosmos DeFi was going to get absolutely ignited, and it was going to essentially like explode in terms of volume and liquidity, and it was going to be on the back of liquid staking derivatives in 2023. I actually made a prediction that there'll be more volume with liquid staking derivatives by the end of 2023 than normal underlying L1 tokens. That prediction still stands true, and we're actually seeing it unfold in real time, in my opinion. So stay tuned for that thesis, and I'm excited to see it play out.
Yeah, and I think especially in Cosmos, we have this wave of innovation when it comes to liquid staking, right? We have multiple providers, like you mentioned, Stride, P-Stake, Quicksilver, Lido eventually, Staffy is also there, but also innovation in terms of technical features like the liquid staking module that is coming to the Cosmos Hub. And for everybody that's interested to learn more about that, well, first of all, I think watch or re-listen to your spaces that you guys did with Stride. And I just actually came off of a spaces with the Stride team as well, and with the Cosmos Hub account on Twitter. So I'm really also like bullish on that. And I think the thing about Cosmos is like, because there's so much to like learn from other ecosystems, especially from Ethereum, obviously, things are being done more with caution, right? And I think liquid staking has always been a little bit like people have been scared that it's coming in Cosmos, but now it's here and people kind of enjoy it, right? And I think there's also a lot of risk mitigation implementations and caps and all this kind of things. So yeah, I'm definitely bullish on that. But if I look at Shade, you mentioned the Silk sATOM pool is the biggest one, right? I'm just on it, like 1 million in liquidity, and that's within what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, well, Silk only went live on Wednesday, so it's been less tan a week.
Oh wow.
Yep.
So there's a Silk sATOM pool, and it says 61.8% APY. So I guess the rewards are in STRD, as you said, the Stride token, and SHD, right? The native token of Shade. Okay.
Yes.
And does it
Another really good one is the Atom sATOM pool. Once again, I highly encourage anyone, go simulate a trade between Atom to sATOM and look at the efficiency, and then look how much TVL is in the pool. It's actually been reported to us that there's actually more efficient trades on around 400K of TVL on ShadeSwap than on Osmosis with like the 23 million in liquidity, because of how concentrated it is. And one thing that's been told to us too is that Osmosis is actually trading at tighter trading ranges from the L1 to staking derivative, because arbitrage is happening between ShadeSwap and Osmosis. So Osmosis, there's actually like a really interesting symbiotic relationship where the trading experience on Osmosis is being improved because of the efficiency on ShadeSwap. And that's only possible because of the power of IBC, because arbors are able to seamlessly go back and forth between the two dexes. And so a lot of the volume on ShadeSwap is tied to people making a trade in Osmosis, and then arbor is going back and forth between this efficient curve as well as Osmosis, which I think is super cool.
Yeah.